Carlos, back again today, Tuesday?
Yes.
7 p.m.?
7 p.m.
Eastern time?
Yes. And welcome to one more show of Neighborhood News. It's Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Channel 95, we back to do one more show for you. And again, I want to welcome the Portuguese community. Sejam bem-vindos a mais programa das suas notícias da sua vizinhança. Como acontece todas as semanas, estamos cá no canal 95, às 7 horas da noite, para fazer mais programa de notícias da sua vizinhança. E hoje nós voltamos aqui ao estúdio com mais convidados. Fique connosco para esta meia hora de notícias. And we're back again at the studio with more guests.
Absolutely.
I love when we have guests.
Yep. Yeah, then we don't have to, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk to each other.
So
I hate to talk to him. You know? So, our guests today?
Yep, we have State Representative Schmid and his aide Anthony. So
Very
welcome.
good.
Welcome.
How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, great, great. And I know you have something important to run to, so I'm going to just jump into the questions real quick
Sure.
here.
Sure, John.
And
Say, hey, before you do that, though, can I just say, I want to thank both you and Carlos for your work in the Niagara Neighborhood Association and the Flint Neighborhood Association. I think the 20-odd neighborhood associations that we have now in Fall River are just an essential part of improving the quality of life here. I know that they're going to be one of the things that the mayor is remembered for, and you two have worked so hard. Thank you very much for what you do.
And you know, if I could just jump on that before I answer the question, Anthony's part of our Niagara group, very important member, board member now too.
He's a board member
Yeah,
now?
he's a board member, and he's always one of the volunteers that I call up or text, and
You don't
he's
have
right
to
there
live
do
on the
something.
Flint to be a board of the Flint neighborhood.
I
You
can only
know
handle
that?
one board at a time.
And hey, he lives in our neighborhood, so cut it
Oh,
out.
okay. But he's not stranger to the neighborhood news because he's usually back on the back of the cameras
Yeah.
and on the control room. So today he's a special person.
Well,
He's on
you're
on
lucky
the
to
front.
have him, and Anthony's a great guy.
He is.
I'm lucky to have him.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you, Representative, what have been the accomplishments this year in the legislature?
I think the two come to mind. One is that we were able to balance the budget third year in a row with no new taxes. I know that's really big for everybody. Second is that we enacted a very important medical bill, which we hope will start reducing the increases in medical costs. You know, Massachusetts prides itself for being the first state in the nation to have universal health care. Well, now we can say we're the first state to take proactive steps to start bringing down the increases in health care costs. I think those two are what come to mind, John.
Okay, great. One thing that, you know, that I'm always, and this has been something that's been going on since 1990, is the commuter rail. And I'll tell you a real quick story today. I had to come home early today, took the bus, 2:30 bus. It was 45 minutes late because I guess there was some kind of accident on the Sakonnet River Bridge. And there were people that were in line with me that I guess were going to Newport or into Fall River, and they said, "Why can't I take the train?" I said, "Well, good luck. It's not here yet. Try us in about 10 years." But I'm hoping that it's not going to be 10 years. Do you have any new news or anything that's
You know,
current status?
the elected delegation had a meeting with the governor about 4 weeks ago on the subject of commuter rail. And Governor Patrick said, "I had always hoped that completing the commuter rail would be done during my tenure." Well, it's not going to be complete, but he said, "I damn well want to make sure that it has begun." So he's got 2 more years, and I think it's important for us to capitalize on that and work with him to make sure that it is started in that 2-year period. I'm eternally an optimist, but I am optimistic that it can be done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it will. I mean, and I think the governor has really been good about, pushing that agenda forward. And it's an economic engine that I really think could improve this area. Every other area, if you look at Brockton, you look at Lowell,
Sure.
all these other towns, their unemployment level rates are a lot lower than ours. I think that's one part of it, and you probably,
Well, and Fall River and New Bedford are now the largest communities in Boston that are not, with largest communities in Massachusetts, that are not connected with Boston by commuter rail.
yeah,
But it's not just for Fall River and New Bedford that we do this. I have a son and daughter-in-law who are living in Boston. Our son's going to law school. You wouldn't believe the rent that you pay for a one-bedroom apartment. And it's getting very difficult for young people to live in Boston. But Boston needs the young people. So I think this is for Boston, so that young folks can take advantage of housing prices here and in New Bedford, commute to Boston and work.
yeah. No, I agree. And I think that's been part of Lowell's, renaissance, is that they've had a lot of young people move in because they couldn't afford to live in Boston anymore. And I think, hopefully it's going to come.
I was up at a conference in Lowell this spring, heard a very interesting fact. They said, first young people moved into Lowell, then the jobs came.
Yeah.
I had thought it would have been the other way around. Jobs first, attract people. No. Just the creativity of young people
Yeah.
created jobs.
Jobs. Huh.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, lately we've heard a lot of talk on the news about the receipts for the state are below average. And I know things change from day to day, I guess. Do you have any update on that as to what you think might happen? Or is there any good news, hopefully, on the horizon? Has it changed?
Well, naturally, this is topic number one
Yeah.
up at the State House. And as we know, the collections through the middle of November are behind the benchmark, not last year, but behind the benchmark by $250 million. Well, although the receipts of the first 2 weeks of November were favorable. So we're all waiting to see what happens to the full month of November. Any cuts to local aid any cuts to the budget come from the governor. So we wait and see what the governor proposes. 3 years ago, the last time we had cuts to the budget, they were announced mid-January at the Massachusetts Municipal Association meeting in Boston. I don't know if that's the kind of timing that would happen. And of course, it's hard to predict whether the governor will want to take those steps. But one thing, any cuts to local aid have to be made with the consent of the legislature. And all of us report back to mayors and select boards. None of us want to come back with that kind of news.
Yeah.
So we're going to do everything we can to prevent any cuts to local aid. Having said that, I've spoken to Sean Kadim and I've spoken to Jack Healy, the town manager in Westport, and I've said, it seems to me it would be prudent to have a plan in place that would allow you to save X amount of dollars by the end of the year if a cut had to be made.
Yeah.
Because there are some things we don't have control of, and if we do go off the fiscal cliff, I believe it will affect business in Massachusetts, which will affect tax collections. So,
Well, hopefully, if, I guess what was a Black Friday? If Black Friday was any indication, maybe, the receipts have, gone up. So, so maybe that's a good thing, so. But I'm not sure if you have a few more minutes for us. I know you have to go, you have a previous engagement. So if if you have another second, I don't know, Carlos,
Yeah.
if you wanted to ask him a question before he
Oh,
took off?
I mean, I would like to, yeah, I could ask him a couple of
'Cause I kinda-
questions. First will be on the process. What can you tell us that you're working right now, that it's not anything, it's not decided yet, nothing, it's just planning? Do you have any project that you think that you have on the table now?
Well, just as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony and I and the rest of the elected delegation are working on 2 bills for Fall River. They both have to do with our water infrastructure. And as you know, there's 7,000 bills filed every 2 years. This is the last month of the 2-year period. Only about 300 or 400 bills have been passed so far. So there's literally 6,000 bills that people are trying to get through. Those 2 are our 2 priorities. And I'm very hopeful with Representative Sullivan and Senator Roderick's help. I'm hopeful that we might be able to get those 2 through.
Okay, that's good. And we just had elections last month for president, and we're going to have the same president for the next 4 years. Is that going to impact in any way? It's going to be good that we will have President Obama for another 4 years?
Myself, I always felt that it's important for the very wealthy to be paying more than the share they pay now. And for 2 reasons. One, we have a terrible deficit we have to take care of. And secondly, just on an equity basis. It seems as though the super rich are just getting richer and richer, and the rest of the nation, us, everybody is struggling at some level. So I myself thought that that was an important part of
Yeah,
Obama's
and I think that the
platform.
him being for another 4 years, and that's pretty much what the American people does 90% of the times, is give them the second term so he could finish where he started on the first term. That's how the American people really thinks.
Yes.
And the good thing is, I mean, whatever he's working could be good things or bad things, but whatever he started on the first year, on the first term, he have a chance to finish now. So
For better or for worse.
exactly. For our area, if we have anything on the table that he's been working and the governor's been working on, and needed his help for the past 4 years, now we have 4 more years to finish.
Well, and I do think that funding for commuter rail will have to partially come from the federal government. And I think that we're more likely to have that with Obama than under Romney, who I think, didn't Romney famously say that he never would see commuter rail coming to the South Coast? I think I remember hearing that. So.
Very good. And we don't want to keep you here for too long. You have somewhere to go. So, but we want to thank you for these minutes that you came. It will not be the last time. We will bring you on again to talk to you.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
And thank you for coming.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have been here with you, Carlos, and with you, John, and my legislative aide, Anthony Valou, is going to stay here, and he's really the person who makes things happen.
Exactly.
So now you're going to hear it. Now you're going to hear it from the person who.
Exactly. So I don't know if he started, you finish. But right now you started, and he's going to finish.
And that's the way it should be. Yep. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Paul. Thank you,
Thanks a
and
lot.
thank you for your service. Thank you. And we.
Yeah, well,
I mean, exactly. My last question to Paul was, it's the reality. We don't want it, but it's the reality. We don't, we have the same president for another year, for another 4 years.
Yeah.
And we have to, now, the only thing, we need to work together.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that's-
nothing's going to change.
I didn't want this to become a CNN or a Fox News commentary here. However, I've been
Yeah.
watching the news the last couple days, and we're going to see what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And you're right, both folks have to work together.
Yes.
And it's not going to just be a $1 trillion tax increase on the rich. It's going to have to come in cuts and programs and increases and with everybody, because we have a $14 trillion deficit. I think that tax on the rich comes out to $1 trillion. Where does the other $13 trillion come from? So there's a lot of work to do on both sides, and I hope to God
I
it's done
really
in the
think
next 30
that,
days.
I really think they are working together.
Yeah, I hope
At
so.
least that's what it's out there.
Yeah, it seems, appears to
It's
be.
and I think that the President Obama meeting with the other runner that lost.
Mitt Romney.
Yeah, run. Yeah.
Governor Romney.
Yes, that's it. Call him that.
Well, you know what?
They will work together.
Yeah.
That's the bottom
Well, there's no
line
choice.
is
There's no
they will
choice of
work
this.
together.
So hopefully we should be all set.
So Anthony, now you're
going?
in trouble.
So this is what it feels like to be on the other side of the camera.
That's what
Yeah,
feels.
I know.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at how
yeah.
much- since May, you know what I mean? Anthony's
have-
been behind the scenes.
You want to tell that since May you've been suffering me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So Anthony, everybody knows that you work with Paul, and what we would like to know is pretty much at the office.
Yeah.
What do you do at the office? What people can be helped.
Yeah,
at
what
the
sort of
office.
services?
Well, as a freshman representative, you only get one legislative aide, so that's me.
That's
So I have to
you're
take,
it.
we take care of as much as we can do that he's not able to do. You know, so anybody that has a phone call, whether it's veteran services, even if it's Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, any type of issue, I might not know the answer right away, but it's sometimes easier for us to navigate state agencies and stuff like that, and then we get them the right answers.
I just sent you today somebody that asked me about he was looking for information about IRS and
Okay.
where's in Fall River that he could talk, office that he could talk about, and he has some questions about payments to IRS. I sent him to Paul, to your office. I didn't know if it was the right way to go, but I think, if
Yeah.
I don't know, but they probably will know. And you're located right there on Pleasant Street.
Yeah.
Anthony, what are the office hours there?
It varies. Typically I try to be there Mondays and Fridays 9 to 5,
Okay.
but if I'm in Boston, I'm not there. So
Okay. So-
usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we're in Boston, but
Okay.
it's been since we're out of session, I'm in Fall River more often.
More often. All right. And what's the address there?
1434 Pleasant.
Pleasant Street. Okay. And you were saying, what's interesting, I guess, when you're no longer a freshman, what, do the state reps get a aide in Boston also, and they get one here? or-
It doesn't. It's not just like no one's going to probably come on staff right away.
Okay.
I mean, we can't. We're not going to be hiring people when a lot of people are not getting raises across the state and stuff. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
you get more aides if you get, for example, a chair of a committee, or if you get some leadership capabilities,
Okay.
you get another aide,
Okay.
maybe a part-time or something like that.
All right. So you're it right now.
I'm the man.
Yeah. And
Unless in the Senate, the Senate gets everything. They get like a staff of 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
They're the evil empire, though. We're the good guys on the House side.
and at the office in Boston, what do you do there?
Well, Boston's easier for me to be focused on legislation, budget stuff. That's more of that stuff up there. Down here, I mean, you can really do anything now because we're connected on the internet, but
Yes. In here, it's more community
yeah,
service.
oh yeah,
That's
definitely,
what
yeah.
it is. It's
You
more
can meet with
community
people face to
service.
face.
Mhm.
You know, when I'm up in Boston, I don't get a chance to sit down with people a lot.
Yes, but do you have people that come into the office in Boston too?
Unless they're there for a pre-planned visit or
Okay.
stuff like that. Not,
Mhm.
we
So
don't get any,
community,
Yeah.
it's in Fall River.
yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Anytime you guys want a tour, just come on up.
Or to,
Well,
to
well,
Boston.
after January, I'm going to go for a tour. I'm right across the street from you, so I
Yeah.
have to see
We'll get you,
get a tour of the, not the White House, but the State House, right?
you can see Calvin Coolidge's old office in his desk.
Cool.
You can sit at it.
Cool. All right, is
Oh.
that for any of the constituents down here?
No, it's special privileges.
Well, that's good. So how was your first, because how long have you been doing this? Is this your first year, right, in this job?
No, I used to work for Senator Menard.
No, but I mean, oh, all right, so this is your first year with Representative Schmid, though, right?
Yeah,
All right,
second.
Oh,
I
second.
started in
Okay.
2011.
All right, but you did this with Senator Menard, so
Yep.
this is nothing new to you. All right, so I was going to ask you what, basically, what's the first year like, but this is the third year, so is
We
the
still
third year
can
better?
ask him what was his first year.
All right,
How
yeah.
was
The first year, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Politics is not what you see on TV. It's not just a bunch of like Fox News and CNN, MSNBC just yelling at each other all the time, you know? There's actual people that need, whether they need help or they just want somebody to talk to or they need questions answered. That's what mostly gets done on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
The arguing over who's right or wrong, Republicans, Democrats, that doesn't really happen that much on the state level.
All right, well, yeah, it's, and you're right, it's probably on the federal, because I know the senators, they do a lot of constituent service too, and they have office people that are doing that, or staff that are doing that, so you're right, you probably wouldn't see that then, you're not in that chamber or whatever, seeing them scream at each other, so maybe that's a positive, right?
And as Democrats, we have a supermajority in the House, so
Okay,
we don't,
yeah, so that
you don't
that
have to
helps.
argue when you just,
When you're the majority, right? Oh, man, I know. So that's good, that's good. So what about most of the aides in the State House? Are they young folks like yourself, or is it a
it's-
mix?
it's a mix.
Mix, okay.
Yeah, you get all kinds of people, all walks of life.
Okay, cool.
Lawyers, law students,
Really?
Yeah.
Lawyers? Wow. Wow.
history majors like me.
All right, wow. Excellent, excellent.
Can I ask him something?
Sure, I'm sorry, that's why I was
No, it's
I'm
okay.
giving you
No,
the
no, no,
opportunity to ask.
I
I
Are
didn't
you
want to take
sure-
up the
are
whole.
you sure I can ask him
Yeah, I didn't
something?
want to take up the whole time here, so go ahead.
You think you will run
No.
one day?
See, you should have
don't
let
even
me
have
ask
to-
another question, Anthony,
You don't even
right?
have to ask.
That's why.
terrible.
That's why I told you. That's why I told you. Are you sure?
I should
can
have
ask
probably
him
asked
a
another
question?
question, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't think he'd want to run, right, Anthony?
Unless
You-
it's a position that, no, yeah, probably not.
You see the
I mean,
inner
this
Is
workings
dog
of-
catcher still an electable position? 'Cause that's something that I would do. But
No, I mean this is a kind of job for you to have it. You have to like politics.
yeah,
You
don't get
have
me
to.
wrong. Yeah, I like
You know,
politics,
that's
Yeah, probably. You're right. I mean, but I think he's in a different situation. You know what I mean? Because you're doing a lot of probably positive things. You probably do a lot of positive things where if you've just helped somebody out with a benefit or something, it's a positive thing. Favorable people treat you favorably. And where in politics, I don't think it's always that way. You're never going to please everybody ever. So,
the same
think-
question. The same question can go for you.
What's that? No, I
Are you
would
running
not,
for
never.
something?
Yeah.
Not for another 10 or 20 years. So what does that mean?
It's
Probably
okay. I'll
never.
be a run. I hope I can be a
Probably
run.
never. Probably never.
Okay.
But it's
Because never I can go there.
it's
I
it's
can
a
go
tough
there.
business.
I like doing what I do. I like reading legislation. My favorite part of the year is budget because it's really interesting to see all the programs that get funded. I think our budget's $32 billion. Is they I forget what state agency it is, but they give us a huge like map, and it has every single dollar amount going to every single state agency, how all the money's spread out. It's really like mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, Anthony, only because, it's funny when you leave the city and go to another place to work every day, and because you're in Boston like I
Yeah.
am, it's amazing how many things are going on in this city. Right now,
yeah.
we're starting on the Plymouth Avenue reconstruction, which is gonna go from Slade Street all the way down to 195 near the 99 and the Applebee's. You got that going on, you got the Morton Middle School going on, you got the Mullican Boulevard going on, gonna be starting. Then you got Route 79 starting, and all the other projects.
You have the Walmart.
Well, Walmart is private, I'm talking a public sector
Public,
things.
yeah.
So, when we constantly hear that there's not a lot of money coming down
Yeah.
to the South Coast and Fall River, just look at these projects. I can tell you, going up toward Boston, I don't see any other things going on, even in the city itself, on, the spectrum that is going on down here. So could you say that, from that map, does it look like a lot of funds are coming down here? And the Braga Bridge is another thing I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I've always saw that in my whole 3 years. Sometimes it can be easy to criticize, and I'm not saying that the legislature is perfect in any way. I mean, we're all human,
Yeah.
But in the next, I would say, 5 to 6 years, with all the construction going on, it's probably going to be a pain in the neck for a little while. There's going to be rerouting of traffic. But when it's all said and done, it's going to be phenomenally better than what we had before. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of times we want to say, woe is me, but you figure all those projects are done, and on top of that, 65% of our city budget is coming from the state. So, I think that's a testament to what's going on with, with the state Senate, Mike Rodrigues,
Yep.
with Representative Schmid, with the Representative Aguirre, but now we're going to have Representative Alan Sylvia, and then Dave Sullivan, all these people working together to bring this money down to us,
The city gets 20 million roughly in local aid, and then I think 107 million in Chapter 70, which is education. So, I mean, that's $120 million alone.
Yeah. And what is the Fall River budget? 200 million, roughly?
I think it was 241.
All right, so yeah, so maybe 50 to 60, so that, that's what you look at, and, when we hear folks say that we don't get anything here and Boston's not taking it seriously, and you tell them, look, 60% of our budget's coming from somewhere
Yes,
else.
yes.
If you look at, too, our fire department's not even funded by us, it's funded from a safer federal grant. So, I think we are getting funding here, and again, I think it's a testament to the folks that are trying to bring these dollars home to us, so that's,
It is a challenge, too, because the greater Boston area has a larger number of representatives arguing for their communities, too,
yeah.
when we only have maybe 5 or 6 that's a Fall River one, so.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And
That's great.
the thing is, and the question is, for how long we gonna keep it this way?
Well, I mean, they're fixing all these things, so I mean, these things are gonna be fixed, but I don't know if we really can go back later on and complain, because, Salem, Lawrence, Lowell, Worcester, Framingham, all these places are probably complaining, Attleboro, that, look, Fall River get all this stuff. So, I think we gotta, be fair with all this stuff, but we're getting the go-ahead to that we're getting to the end of this, so.
We're getting
Yeah.
to the end
Yeah.
of one more
My
show.
partner in crime is going to kill me back there.
But it was different, Anthony was on this side.
Don't worry, next week we will be
Well,
there.
yeah.
We will put you on the cage again with him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard, for your help there, back there. Definitely cannot do it without you guys' help, and it's like a team. It's just
yeah.
like politics.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a team. It's a teamwork. So one more time, thank you, Anthony,
Yeah, thanks,
and
Anthony.
one more time, thank Paul for his service
Yep, sure thing.
for the Fall River area
Yep.
and Westport,
Absolutely.
that's the areas that he serves.
Yep.
And I see you next week again for one more show.
And what, Merry Christmas, right?
And Merry Christmas.